6:46 your time, and it's 66 degrees on this lovely Monday morning. Glad you joined us here for Tennessee Valley this morning. Dan Howell with Nikki Runyon, and we have a very special guest today. First time on the show.
Yes, it is.
But we're certainly glad to have Cheryl Dunson here. She's Vice President of Marketing with Santec Environmental, a local environmental company that looks after our landfill. When I say our, I mean Bradley County's landfill.
Correct.
Not only here, but I think you operate in 7 states?
8.
8 states. See, I
states.
shortchanged you there, Cheryl. 8 states. So a big company, and just one of many big companies whose headquarters are right here in Bradley County. And so we're very proud of that fact, and glad that you're here today, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So good to be here.
You and I get to interact a little bit on occasion through
Yes.
the mayor's office, but we never get to sit down and just talk about stuff like we're going to talk about today. And you're here not to talk so much about Santec,
Right.
but about something big that's happening for the Sunrise Rotary Club.
Yep. The Bradley Sunrise Rotary is having its 2nd annual gala this coming Friday, and our special guest is head coach, the Tennessee Vols head coach, Derek Dooley. And we're very, very excited about that. All of the money that we raise locally will stay here to help with our disaster relief effort.
That is
That's
fantastic.
wonderful.
So many people are stepping up and realizing that it's going to take a while for this disaster recovery to take place. I think FEMA estimates 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
And so people like Rotary Club stepping up and saying, hey, we got to help because they need lots of money. So this is an annual gala, and I think last year you had his parents here, didn't you?
Yes, we had Vince and Barbara Dooley, and so it just seemed fitting that now that we have a new head coach here in Tennessee, that we invite his son, and he graciously accepted our invitation, and he'll be here, like I said, next Friday. It's going to be at the Museum Center, and we've got pretty much a sellout. We've sold all our tables. And we may have a couple of tickets left if anybody's interested in, you know, call me.
What would we need to do if we are interested?
Just call 244-7484, and I will see what tickets are available. They're $200 a piece. And we also have a really neat event going on with the an auction. We have a live auction and a silent auction. And in our live auction, we have some really, really neat items.
Now, will the coach be available afterward for autograph signing and personal interaction?
We do have a private reception starting at 6 o'clock for our gold level sponsors.
I see.
And it'll be a meet and greet. They get a picture taken with the coach, get to talk with him, get an autographed football, and then
sounds good.
He'll have our program, and then we'll have the live auction.
Yeah, that football will be worth some money when they win the national championship.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, I'm an Alabama fan. So
oh no, you shouldn't have said that on the air.
I had to put my plug in for my
Cheryl, we really liked you there for a minute.
No, Alabama's got a great program. They really do. Obviously, they do. They won the
Right.
national championship. So this is happening Friday night at 6 o'clock for the reception and then 7 o'clock for the dinner.
That's
and tickets are still available.
Yes, and we would encourage everybody to show up at 6 because we do have our silent auction. We've got a whole host of items that people can bid on silently. And then after Coach Dooley speaks, we'll have our live auction, and we have, like I said, some really neat
that's
items.
going to be fun. Who's going to do the auction? Who's the auctioneer? Do you know?
David Carroll.
Oh, yeah, he's a lot of fun.
And Max is going to help him.
Oh, yeah.
So we should have a very fun and festive time and raise a lot of money for disaster relief.
Yeah, now
That's
David,
wonderful.
I was at Cherry's Jubilee, and David was the auctioneer. Same setting at the Museum Center, 5 Points. A lot of fun. Boy, it gets lively, doesn't it? Isn't that exciting when that happens? And
very exciting.
Just raise a lot of money.
Yes.
And it's amazing what some of those items go for.
Yes.
People get to bidding against one another. And of course, they realize it's all for a good cause.
Yes.
And the money goes for
That makes it
disaster
all
relief.
that much better.
But I saw some items on there that, on your list, I saw the list of auction items, and I thought, I'd like to have that. And then, I'd like to have that too. And there's several things on there. If you're an outdoorsman, you have 2 or 3, I think, really nice guns.
Yes, we do.
That, you got a list of them there,
Yeah,
Cheryl?
we do. We have
nice.
we have a new Thompson semi-automatic weapon.
That's the one I wanted. Thompson
Just put Dan's name on that one. He's going to outbid everybody for that one.
We also have the a classic Browning shotgun. We have a turkey hunt on 280 acres in Greenville, Kentucky.
Really?
Oh, that'd be
Turkey hunt,
nice.
Yes, for self-guided or just your own tour. We also have 4 club level tickets for the UT Cincinnati game with a private limousine ride to and from the game.
Dan will get the gun and I'll take that.
Yeah, there you go. We have a Collins Brothers party, which will be catered by Al Shabibi, who is also doing our gala this year.
Wonderful.
We have a Tennessee Valley Air Tour for 3 or 4 people. Our club president is a pilot and has his own plane. And so you'll get to bid to take a fall cruise in the air.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We have a ladies' diamond ring, 1.25 carats, that was donated by Johnny Holden.
Really?
Yes.
Way to go, Johnny. Wow.
We have a wine tasting for 20. We have a special 4-course dinner from Cafe Roma for 4 people. So we've got a sapphire and pearl ring donated by Epperson Jewelers. Let's see, we have an authentic Indian dinner for 12.
I would like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
So we've got some really neat
Who donated that item?
Jim and Philomena Davis, who are members of our
Jim
club.
and Philomena, yeah.
And Philomena is an excellent chef.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, so we're very excited about that. And we have a 1-week secluded mountaintop of a Gatlinburg vacation in a 2-bedroom condo at the summit. So we've got some really
wonderful items
neat
to bid
items.
on.
The key word there to me was secluded.
I know.
I like
away
that.
from it all.
Yeah, wow. You guys have gone all out, Cheryl.
You've got some wonderful items.
We do, and based on our silent and our live auction items, we've got close to $30,000 worth of items just in our auction. And then with the sellout on our tables, we're right at about $60,000 on our
And that
tables.
is so needed in the community
Wow,
for
and this
help
is
to
going
rebuild.
to be a really shot in the arm for the disaster long-term recovery. The long-term recovery committee, by the way, is very active. They're getting some regional people involved. The Southeast Tennessee Development District has stepped up. I talked to Beth Jones, the director of the Southeast Tennessee Development District. They're very interested in helping us identify some additional funds to help with the recovery effort. And I think she may even come to the next meeting. Of course, the website continues to generate funds, disasterrelief.org. I just thought I'd sneak that in there.
.org.
Yeah, .org. Which means if you donate through that website, .org, it is tax deductible. And so that's a good thing. And I think there's well over $300,000 in that fund right now. Of course, those monies are being, I won't say, no one will use the word handled, they're being cared for by United Way. United Way is not spending the funds, they're just taking care of them. They're putting them in their bank account, and then the committee itself, the Long-Term Recovery Committee, is the one who makes decisions on helping the various people who need the help. But a lot of people out there, Cheryl, with no insurance. I understand about 40% of the people whose homes were affected had no insurance. So they really need help. And there's some people who are underinsured, some people who cannot meet their deductible, people who...
And like we were talking about Wednesday, they didn't have specific coverage for this type of damage.
Yeah.
And
so the Long-Term Recovery Committee, which is a very good, active committee, really impressed with the committee that they're bringing in some help from outside the state and as far away as I think Wisconsin or Minnesota.
Wow.
People who are really good at this type of thing. So they're going to help us. And glad to know that Sunrise Rotary is jumping right in there and helping as well. This is great.
It looked like there was a steak on there. Is there
some...
A steak? You missed the food?
Well, not me. I didn't. Of course, I'm going to show the food.
We have Carrington Acres. Sonia and Brent Crago are members of our club, and they donated a quarter of a locally raised beef, all organic, and it's approximately 180 pounds.
Wow.
So,
there's a big picture of a lovely steak right here. So I was looking at that going, I wonder what item that is.
Yeah, that's one of our live auction items.
So this is farm-raised beef, and that's going to be good. That's the best kind. Wow,
right.
That's exciting. So there are some tickets available. You can't buy them at the door, though, right?
No.
Cannot get them at the door.
Again, Cheryl, if they want
the
to
number
purchase.
is 244-7484, and I will personally answer the phone.
Yeah. So
Great.
You There you go. That's an incentive to call. And if you can't remember that, just call Santec Environmental, ask for Cheryl.
Absolutely.
And she'll be there and be glad to get you those few remaining tickets. They want a complete sellout because the more they sell, the more money goes to help disaster relief here in Bradley County. While we got Cheryl here, I want to talk a little bit. I said we wasn't going to talk trash, but we are.
My favorite subject.
Makes for good TV.
Santec Environmental, of course, doing a great job. It has for years. How many years have you looked after the landfill in Bradley County?
Since 1987.
Wow. So you must be doing something right.
I think we are.
Apparently so. It's of course that the trash business is constantly evolving, going high tech, and there is a lot of things happening. But something that's new with Santec, you mentioned before the show. I didn't even know this. You guys have started your own county-wide collection service.
Yes, we last September we began a residential waste collection service to residents living outside the city limits but inside Bradley County. And it has gone phenomenal. It's gone really well. Waste Services is our collection subsidiary, and we were providing commercial and industrial waste service collection in the city and the county. And now we've gone countywide with residential.
Oh, that's great.
And very affordable. Call and you get a free 95-gallon rolling cart.
Really?
Yes.
I'd like to have that, but I don't
keep
live
the garbage
in
off the ground. And all of that money, we return a portion of the revenues of all the waste that comes into the landfill. And that goes back to Bradley County. So if you do business with us, your money stays here locally.
Yeah, good way to keep the money locally and keep your taxes down.
Yes.
I like the sound of that. Well, Santec has done a great job. And what are some of the other states that you,
that you
work in?
We're in 8 states. We're in Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, of course, Kentucky, Arkansas, Texas, Ohio, Virginia. I think that's it.
I was going to say mostly southeast except Ohio, of course. That's Midwest.
Yes.
Wow.
But we'll go anywhere.
Just
that's
give
8
them a
states
call.
for now.
They'll come and take care of your garbage and your trash and your landfill. Taking care of a landfill is a big job.
Daunting task.
Yeah, it really is. And there's so many environmental issues that you have to stay right on top of. And of course, I guess the newest technical innovation is the methane gas that's generated by the garbage, and there's all kinds of rules and regulations on how that can be handled as well. So you guys have to take care of that. So it's a big job, isn't it?
It is. And one thing I'd like to stress is that all of the landfills that we manage are owned by the local government. We just provide all the tools and the resources and the finances to manage and monitor those sites. So the local government stays in control. They set the rules. We play by their rules.
Play by their rules, and then you return a portion of the income. Tipping, I think they call them tipping fees, and is returned back to the county government, and keeps the county government payroll lower, and turns it over to, and generates private business, stimulates private business, and I think that's a good thing. It's worked really well for over 20 years.
Yes, it has.
So apparently doing something right. Well, we're excited that you've been here, Cheryl.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
I was excited when we have a new guest come in, and I'm excited about Derek Dooley coming. I had inquired about a ticket, I will confess, and then I checked my calendar and I can't go. So I can't go. But next time, maybe next time. But I would love to be there and bid on that Thompson's semi-automatic rifle.
He's wanting that rifle.
I want that rifle. I really would. I'd like to have that. Either that or the Browning shotgun.
There
It
you
wouldn't
go.
matter. I'd like either one. Cheryl Dunson, Vice President of Marketing for Santec Environmental. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Cheryl. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It is 7 o'clock. State Senator Mike Bell is in the house. He really is. He peeked his head around this door and I saw him, so I know he's here. We're going to talk to him coming up in just a moment. Also some headline news. Stay with us. It is 66 degrees.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Casto of the United Christian Church here at 2200 Peerless Road, Cleveland, Tennessee. I want you to make plans right now to be here at our Holy Ghost Camp Meeting 2011 with signs, wonders, and miracles. Why don't you go to our website right now and get all the information, or call the number on the screen, because you're not going to want to miss these day service, evening service, great speakers, choirs, singers, such great talent. You're going to want to be here in Cleveland, Tennessee.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television. Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Volunteer Ridipest LLC has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding areas for over 40 years. Their qualified, experienced technicians are trained in all the latest techniques to keep your home pest-free. Volunteer Ridipest LLC offers Mosquito Guard, which keeps mosquitoes out of your yard and out of your life. Their monthly and quarterly treatments are backed by their 100% money-back guarantee. For all your pest removal needs, call Volunteer Ridipest LLC today at 423-472-7736.
Oh, I got to turn over here to this camera. I'm sorry, I was talking to Nikki. We were just carrying on a conversation. Good morning. It is 7:03, and you're watching the Tennessee Valley This Morning. Mike Bell is here. He's state senator for the 9th District, and that's where you live. And we'll talk to him in just a moment about some very interesting things and kind of wrap up this last session of the legislature in Nashville. But right now, some headline news. The property tax rate in Cleveland will remain the same as last year. The City Council expected to set the rate at $1.49 per $100 of assessed value when it meets on Wednesday. Once that's settled, the council is expected to adopt the fiscal year 2012 budget at $35,903,000. Bradley County Commission's Finance Committee made some changes to the proposed 2012 budget on Friday for the county's budget. The change affects the Election Commission's request for a full-time position in that department. That request was denied. It will be kept apparently as a part-time position. Cleveland City Council also expected to discuss concerns about traffic flow exiting the McDonald's driveway on North Lee and turning left onto the highway there at the Walmart at North Lee and Paula Parkway. City Engineer Brian Beck said he had spoken to a consultant engineer representing McDonald's. He says McDonald's Corp is making improvements to the site, should have those made by the end of the year. TDOT says then it's up to the city to apply further access restrictions if changes are made. The community is invited to a big red, white, and blue celebration at the Museum Center at 5 Points. That's coming up on July 1st. The Sassy Brass Big Band will lead the Independence Day family celebration, so get your tickets for that. They're $5 a piece, and they help support the Greater Cleveland Community Stage Band, the Family Foundation, and the Museum Center at 5 Points. That's coming up on July 1st. Going to be a lot of fun. Wishing some happy birthdays, belated birthday to Doyle Hughes. He had a birthday yesterday, and Nurse Marilyn Workman had a birthday yesterday as well. And today, Mrs. Teresa Minter-Schul is having a birthday today. And we wish them all the very, very best. That's your headline news. Let's take a look at your weather forecast. See how hot it's going to be today. Mostly sunny today. Not too bad, 91, low of 62. Going to cool off a little bit tonight. Tomorrow, chance of rain. through Wednesday. In fact, I think the chance of rain continues on through Friday of this week, the latest long-range forecast that I saw. But temperatures moderating just a tad, as you can see, so it's not going to be too bad. Not bad today for a Monday morning.
Starting
it is
out
66 degrees, starting out
somebody
really good.
told me at work a couple of days ago that the heat index got up to 105 degrees the other
I don't
day.
doubt it.
Huh. That's just too hot
Yeah.
for me.
Can you do anything about that in the legislature,
What
Mike?
can you do about that?
Absolutely not. There's someone else in control that I have no authority over.
That's right.
It is 7:06. We're here with State Senator Mike Bell, who represents the 9th District in Tennessee, and that's where you live. 9th District is Bradley,
Polk, McMinn, and Meigs County.
Meigs counties. Mike Bell, Senator Mike Bell, is a product of Bradley County.
Absolutely.
Right?
Graduate. In fact, I had my 30th high school reunion at 5 Points Saturday night.
Did you really?
Right, the class of 1981, Bradley Central High School.
Central
Right, go
High
Bears.
School.
That's right.
I think Nikki's a
92.
Bear
That's right.
as well. That's great.
You know
we're
we're
glad.
giving our age out.
You're just a baby.
Oh, thank you. I love him.
We're glad that Senator Bell is with us today. We had him scheduled for a couple of weeks ago, and things happened. He couldn't make it, but he's here today. That's all that's important. And we have a lot to talk about. We're going to spend most of the rest of the show just talking to Senator Bell about some things. But let's start with, first of all, we just finished the legislative session, Mike.
That's correct.
And kind of bring us up to date on the highlights of what happened, and then we'll talk about possibly the future of what may happen next year. But the highlights of what went down this past session.
All right, well, I'll start out with something that maybe a lot of people didn't think about. We got out on May 21st this year. That is the earliest that we've adjourned in the 5 years I've been in the legislature. I actually served in the House for 2 terms, representing McMinn and part of Monroe County, before I got elected to the Senate. And we got out on May 21st, and when you look back over the last few years, we've gone till the second, even the third week of June, we saved the state $457,000 in per diem cost alone just by adjourning early.
So when you guys don't meet, you save us money.
We save you money. That's right. We save you money. And there's a
lesson there somewhere.
There is a lesson there. There is a lesson there. And I am a Republican, and I'm going to attribute part of that to we had a Republican-controlled legislature for the first time in 1869, 1870, and we had a Republican-controlled legislature, a Republican governor, and we got our work done in a more efficient manner this year.
Wrapped it up.
And we wrapped it up and got out of town.
And you know, everybody there is just anxious to get home. It just gets
it becomes a grind.
It does.
It becomes a grind. And we passed we passed the budget. I guess we got out on a Saturday. We probably passed the budget on the Thursday before the Saturday when we ended. And according to the Constitution, that's the only thing we have to do each year. You know, if we could get in there and get our work done and get a budget passed, we could go home even earlier. In fact, back in the 80s and before that, they used to go home as early as mid-April.
Oh.
And just the amount of legislation that's filed now, though, there's about 2,400 bills filed each year, and about 700 on average become law. It takes a long time to get through that.
Say it would take forever, just because you meet on average, what, 3 months, 4 months?
Well, about 5 months. We go into session, we start session the second Tuesday of January. In fact, our Constitution even spells that out. We start session at noon on the second Tuesday of January, and then we go until we pass a budget. And again, this year we got it passed, I believe, on May 19th. And we got out of town 2 days after that.
But in addition to looking at the budget, you said you passed 700 other bills. I don't know how in that short a time you have a chance to investigate and read all those bills.
It takes a long time, and you have a greater appreciation for the process and how we have a part-time legislature. You know, I think about half the states have a full-time legislature. Tennessee has a part-time legislature. And during that 4-month to 5-month period that you're up there, you are, if you're doing the job you should be doing, you're spending a lot of time reading bills and researching.
Yeah, it's long, long days. And then, of course, you come back home to be with your family on the weekends most of the time, I would think.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
I never stayed, and I don't know of anybody who stays in Nashville over the weekend. But getting back to some of the bills we passed, the first was the budget. In Tennessee this year, we passed a budget which will fund the next year, starting July 1st, next fiscal year, that is 3.8% smaller than last year's budget. And I like to tell people, because we're so jaded, I think, by what we see going on in Washington and at the federal level, they'll propose a 10% increase and cut that increase back to 5% and say they cut government 5%.
Right. They actually grew it.
That's right. We did. Yeah, we didn't do that in Nashville. We actually, our budget next year actually spends 3.8% fewer dollars than we spent the previous year before.
So the budget, the overall total state budget is what? It's in the billions, I know.
Yes, it is. It's
it seems like it
30. It's right at 31.4.
That's what I was thinking.
Billion.
So when you
billion.
Yeah.
Billion.
So when you take 3.5% of that, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And even out of that $32 billion, only about 12.5 is state dollars. The rest of it's federal flow-through dollars.
I see.
Just like at the county level, you probably have certain state and federal flow-through dollars, and you got your county dollars that you raise.
And a lot of the education dollars come from the state.
Absolutely.
In the schools budget.
Right.
In fact, I think about $1 million additional education funds are flowing into the county for the schools this year.
Right.
So that's a good thing for local schools, of course.
We also, again, I guess some of the things I'm going to mention are going to show my philosophy in government.
Sure.
One of the best things I think we did was we cut out 11 oversight committees that have been created over the last 30 years to essentially do the job the legislature should be doing. You know, when people don't want to take responsibility for something, they create a committee.
Right.
They create a committee.
Yeah, if they don't want to make a decision, they get a study committee.
That's right, a study committee. And so over the last 30 years, we've had 11 different oversight committees: education oversight, teen care oversight, corrections oversight. I don't remember all 11 of them, but that's 3 of them. We eliminated those at a savings of about $900,000 to the state just by eliminating those committees. And those are committees that the standing committees in the House and the Senate, these oversight committees were doing a function that those standing committees were created and should be doing. And so now those standing committees will be doing that work
doing
again.
Their job.
That's
that
right,
standing committee is made up of the legislature.
The legislature, right? And these oversight committees were made up of people the legislature hired. I know one committee, the Corrections Oversight Committee. The director alone got paid $80,000 a year. And so that's a job that's eliminated.
Where do we apply for those jobs?
Right. I'll take a committee, please.
Just put me on a committee.
That's right. Put me on a committee. And there were so many times, especially over the last my first couple of years up there when it was under Democrat control, you'd have a Bill and Judiciary Committee, and or the Employees and Consumer Fair Employees Committee. And you would be there, present your bill, and the committee chairman would say, well, what does the Employee Oversight Committee have to say about this? Well, it doesn't, constitutionally, it doesn't matter what they have to say. It matters what the legislature has to say about that. And so we eliminated all that. It was a way to kill bills as well. Well, if the Oversight Committee doesn't like it, then we're not going to pursue it.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And so that was another bill that.
So you saved about $1 million.
About $1 million there.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I know that one thing that made some news was of course, this impacts people in Bradley County, was the sales tax break for storm survivors.
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
That passed right at the end of session. Of course, the tornado outbreak wasn't until April 27th. Is that correct?
Right.
And so we were close to the end. We were 3 weeks from the end anyway.
Yeah.
But a bill was filed late. Actually, a caption bill was amended to include the language that gave storm victims sales tax breaks. Now, they have to be in counties that were declared federal disaster areas, like Bradley and McMinn County were. And those people who meet the criteria can, I believe it's good for up to $2,500 in purchases. They can, or it may be a total of $2,500 in sales tax, which would cover building materials on your houses.
Right.
I can't remember the exact figure, but they can apply for a sales tax break, which will save you about 10%.
Oh, yeah.
On materials.
That's
that you had to
significant.
purchase.
That's
It is.
very
Yes.
significant, especially
Especially
for
building
people.
materials and things
A lot
like
of victims were fixed income people, and so
Right.
that's very significant for them. Now, how do they file for that? End of the year tax season? Is that when they do it? Or?
No, and Dan, I wish I would have brought the information on me. I tell you what, if they would get in touch with my legislative office or Representative Brooks or Representative Watson, we can walk them through the process.
Sure.
It's not hard.
Okay.
But I don't have that information with me
quite
on
right.
how they file for it.
Well, how would they contact your office, by the way?
Two ways, email or phone number. Phone number is 615-741-1946, or email is SEN, short for Senator, period Mike, period Bell, at capital.tn.gov.
Capital.tn.gov, okay. Okay, I thought I had that down except for the capital part. I
That's
forgot
right.
to put that in there. One of the other big significant things that came out of the legislature, and I've followed that, and a lot of people here did, because, you know, good citizens are concerned about education. Education reform was a big deal this year.
It was. We passed a number of different bills, but the two major ones were tenure reform. It now is going to take 5 years for a educator to reach a status where he or she can be tenured. And then the other one was a repeal of the 1978 mandatory collective bargaining agreement. Prior to 1978, counties could choose to have collective bargaining or not to. Since 1978, it's been mandatory that they do. Even though special school districts, which Cleveland City and Athens City are, they were not under those same constraints. They did not have collective bargaining in Cleveland City and Athens City. But I believe there's 135, 136 systems, and about 90 of them had collective bargaining, and 40 of them didn't. But now that's gone.
This didn't seem to be the upheaval as it was in Wisconsin. They had a lot of demonstration sit-ins. You had a few.
We had a few. In fact, I was in a committee where that was shut down for about 30 minutes. But now it wasn't the teachers; it was some other people up there protesting another union bill, and they shut it down for about 30 minutes. It was an interesting thing to experience.
I bet it was. But it didn't seem to have the impact here in Tennessee that it had.
Well, it's because we've got such a strong history in this state and heritage of being a right-to-work state.
Yeah.
You know, teachers were, and this is one of the reasons I voted the way I voted. I voted to end the collective bargaining agreement. Teachers were the only public employees in the state. Police officers have fought for that right. Firefighters have fought for that right. Other state employees have fought for that right. And the state has not given collective bargaining privileges to anybody but teachers. And Dan, and I know there was some disagreement. It was, I received more emails on this issue
I'm sure.
Than any issue since I've been in the legislature. But what it came down to me when I made the decision is, should a employee that is paid by taxpayer dollars and serves at the will of the people of Bradley, Polk, McMinn, and Meigs County, and when I say the will, they're the ones paying their salary.
Right.
Should they have the right to force the taxpayers? And you could say it's the school board, but it's the taxpayers through the school board. Should they have that right to force them to sit down and do mandatory collective bargaining? And I felt.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and when the other public unions didn't have that right,
they didn't. And it doesn't. The teachers can still have a union. They're still going to have a union.
Yeah.
I'm sure the union's going to be very active the next couple election cycles.
Sure they will.
But I just didn't feel it was right for the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Again, the taxpayer to be forced in negotiations.
And there was not the outcry. In fact, I have some very good friends who are educators, and some of them in administrative roles, some of them teachers work in the classroom. And not all the teachers were opposed to this. Some of them thought it was, especially the reform changing the tenure from 3 to 5 years, because it had always been so difficult. And let's face it, not every teacher should be teaching.
Right. We've got some great teachers out there.
Yeah,
and there's some.
We do.
Yeah, there were some horror stories about some teachers who've been kept. I didn't hear one in this I didn't hear one that came from my district, but from other parts of the state, there were some horror stories about some teachers who committed crimes. And now the school boards and the administration said we didn't get rid of them because we knew we would have to fight the union. Of course, the union would say, well, they just didn't want to go through the process.
Yeah.
Well, the process was very long and cumbersome.
Tough, and it's hard to get rid of a tenured teacher, and I think that was a good move. And a lot of teachers, educators told me they thought that was a good move,
right? Because
it gives you more time to decide who really should be in the classroom and who shouldn't. And I'm grateful for the wonderful teachers, my kids, my grandkids, fortunate they all had great teachers here in Cleveland, Bradley County school systems. But I think that was, personally, I'm speaking personally, I think that was a good move. We are getting a signal. We have to take a break. We have a lot more to talk about with Senator Bell. I'm enjoying this conversation. Hope you are too. It's 7:21. Back in just a moment with more.
KILE Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. KILE Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it KILE Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Volunteer Ridipest LLC has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding areas for over 40 years. Their qualified, experienced technicians are trained in all the latest techniques to keep your home pest-free. Volunteer Ridipest LLC offers Mosquito Guard, which keeps mosquitoes out of your yard and out of your life. Their monthly and quarterly treatments are backed by their 100% money-back guarantee. For all your pest removal needs, call Volunteer Ridipest LLC today at 423-472-7736.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television, Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Casto of the United Christian Church here at 2200 Peerless Road, Cleveland, Tennessee. I want you to make plans right now to be here at our Holy Ghost Camp Meeting 2011 with signs, wonders, and miracles. Why don't you go to our website right now and get all the information, or call the number on the screen, because you're not going to want to miss these day service, evening service, great speakers, choirs, singers, such great talent. You're going to want to be here in Cleveland, Tennessee.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Having a great conversation here with State Senator Mike Bell, District 9. We've been talking about several things, education reform for one, but I wanted to move on to some things that the Senator himself actually sponsored. He's been a busy man for the last, this is your first term as Senator,
That's
served
right.
2 terms as a state representative. But your first term as Senator, you've been a busy man. I think you had something to do with TDEC changing its mind on an issue.
We did. Myself and Representative Eric Watson, of course, who's a police officer here with the Bradley County Sheriff's Department. Eric, an issue came to him that Sheriff Ruth brought to him. TDEC had been charging our Sheriff's Department to come inspect their x-ray machines. Well, current state law that I think has been on the books since the late 80s says that they can't charge to inspect public safety agencies. Now, TDEC had an interpretation. This is one of the problems that we have with state agencies that get too much power.
Bureaucracy.
That's right. They had an interpretation of that law that said, well, that only applies to bomb squads. Well, it didn't say that. It said public safety agencies, which could be any kind of emergency or law enforcement agency. Well, Eric and I filed a bill that basically repeated what state law already said. Listen, you can't charge them for inspecting these machines. And TDEC argued in committee that that was just bomb squads. So we asked for an Attorney General's opinion on the current law, and the Attorney General came back and said, well, they may say it only applies to bomb squads, but the law says public safety agencies So the AG agreed and said, TDEC, you can't charge public safety agencies, i.e. sheriff's departments, police departments, for inspecting their x-ray equipment. And TDEC finally pulled back and said, okay, we won't charge them anymore, but they've been charging this for the last 12 or 15 years and have been collecting about $23,000 a year illegally from our public safety agencies.
Wow.
And because of the work that Representative Watson did and myself, we were able to now save that money.
Yeah. I don't suppose they offer to give a refund, do
No,
they?
no, they don't offer to give refunds.
I didn't figure they would.
Dan, I passed another kind of an interesting bill. It's one that won't mean much to many people, but it will to a farmer or a landowner.
Okay.
We've got laws on the books to protect our wildlife and our game, and
Right.
one of them and we've got laws that prohibit spotlighting.
Yeah.
Going out with a night at night, either with your car or some type of a beam, a flashlight or a high-powered light, and shining on deer or other animals and shooting them. Well, under current state law, it's illegal for you as a farmer if you're outside checking your cattle herd at night, or checking your fence property, or just in your field for whatever reason with a spotlight or a flashlight, you are technically breaking the law. And then it leaves it up to the discretion of the officer to decide whether to charge you or not.
Oh my.
Well, it's been a problem. In fact, I talked to one of the board members at our local Bradley County Farm Bureau who knew somebody who was fined at night, a farmer out checking his animals. Not hunting, but checking his animals. And so myself and a representative from West Tennessee, we carried a bill, sponsored and passed it. Just says, listen, if you're the landowner or if you're somebody who has permission to be on the land by the landowner, you can go out at night with a spotlight and check your fences or check your cattle or check whatever you want to check. It's your property.
Right.
And if you want to go out at night with a flashlight and shine around and count the deer in your field, you should be able to do that.
Absolutely.
So.
Wow, that's amazing.
I agree with that.
You know, it's really amazing what state government has to deal with sometimes.
It is. It is.
Don't think about that.
And one of the things that eye-opening experiences, not just experience, just the whole experience. When I was first elected 5 years ago, and it happens, I'm sure, to everybody who gets up there, is you could move from one committee where you're talking about spotlighting deer to the next committee where you're talking about tort reform or education, and the wide the various subjects that you have to discuss and that you have to try to become knowledgeable on. It can be daunting at times. It really can.
The time spent just getting up to speed on the issues can be just so time-consuming.
Well, and that's why it's so helpful when an issue comes up for me to hear from a pharmacist. When we were talking about the meth bills this year that we passed to give more tools to combat the meth problem, and I heard from pharmacists about what they thought would help. Police officers. I even went to a couple of meth lab busts to educate myself on it, or spotlighting, or education reform, or tort reform. Having attorneys, local attorneys, call me up and talk to me about it, and sitting down with the judge and talking about tort reform. It helps to have constituents who are concerned to call me up and say, listen, so this is what I think about this issue.
Yeah. So your letters and your input to your state elected representatives really do have an impact. Mike, it is just a pleasure having you here today. I'd love to have you back. I know it's awfully early for you to get up and come in. But
I'm up early.
We have so much more to discuss, but unfortunately we run by the clock and we're out of time. So we'll have to pick this up again. But let's have you back if you're available. And
yeah, we could have gone.
We could have done another 30 minutes easily because I had a bunch of more questions whirling around in my brain. But we're out of time, unfortunately. But thanks so much for coming. We appreciate it today. 7:29. It is 66 degrees. Going to be a decent day. Hope your Monday is off to a good start, and we'll see you tomorrow on Taking Care of Business.